Sarasota, Florida is a con artist's dream. Despite a real estate downturn, there's still lots of wealth here, and lots more moving in all the time.
Okay, why don't you flip on over to your back for me?
The area attracts affluent professionals like chiropractor Craig Siegel, who moved here 20 years ago, lured by the great weather and economic prospects.
You can golf, but don't overdo it.
Siegel has done well here, well enough to be targeted and allegedly ripped off by a local con criminal for more than $1.2 million.
He had a group of people that were friends of friends of friends, and as it exponentially grew out, people got swept up in what he was selling.
What the alleged con, Beau Diamond, was selling were bogus securities contracts that guaranteed investors a 3 to 5% monthly return. But in fact, authorities say he was keeping much of the money to fund an extravagant lifestyle.
I remember the first time I met him, you know, wearing very expensive jewelry, drove up in a Lamborghini around that time, seemed to have a little bit of money.
More than a little. Investors here lost $37 million, while Beau lived in this multi-million-dollar waterfront home. The Diamond name is well known in Sarasota. Father Harvey wrote the best-selling health books Fit for Life. Local residents thought the Diamond name was golden. Sarasota's wealthy and well-to-do were targeted. John McKinney is a local tax attorney who lost $250,000 in the scheme.
The word was around. He was producing some seriously nice returns, and I felt lucky to get involved. This was how rich people get richer, and this was my ticket to the big dance, so to speak.
Beau was paying great returns to those initial investors who convinced unwitting friends to invest, a classic Ponzi scheme. John McKinney, Craig Siegel, and others say they relied on the Diamond name, asked friends for recommendations, but few went any further.
I didn't particularly look into the licensing of Beau, whether he was licensed or not, or whether he was legally allowed to trade in these certain transactions.
If he had checked, he would have found that Diamond was not registered to sell these investments. This violated state and federal securities laws. Diamond told victims the investments did not have to be registered and to keep it all confidential. Classic red flags.
The customer is asked to sign a confidentiality agreement in which it states you are not to talk to or disclose this opportunity to anyone else. And the Ponzi schemer uses those mechanisms to avoid law enforcement from finding out about these type of schemes. So a typical red flag is if there is some sort of confidentiality provision in it. There was also another thing that we saw in Ponzi scheme type contracts in which they represent that there's no requirement for them to be registered with the SEC or FINRA or any other agency.
But who has time for that when your friends are getting 60% returns?
I drank the Kool-Aid just like everybody else. There were a lot of people around here who lost a lot more money than I did, and who were a lot smarter and a lot more experienced investors.